Hello.
Hello, everyone. Um, Welcome to another session of Rainbow Secure Symposium 2021. So, today we have our honorable guest Gaurav Sharma with us, and also Shashi ma'am. I like you to give us today's agenda so we can know what we are doing today. Thank you.
Welcome to the day 4 of Rainbow Secure Cyber Symposium. Today we have three guest talks. First, we'll start with Dr. Gaurav Sharma, who will be talking about privacy issues in blockchain. Then we will be having a guest talk by Dhaval Shah. He'll be talking about artificial intelligence for cybersecurity. And then we have a student guest talk by Priya Aggarwal. She'll be talking about upcoming trends in UI and UX. So I would request Eva to please introduce our guest speaker of the day, Dr. Gaurav Sharma. Eva. Eva, you can start.
तो तुम्हें आप क्या लगता है आप इंट्रोड्यूस कर दीजिए
I think she's having some problem with her internet connection. Let me introduce Dr. Gaurav Sharma for today. Dr. Gaurav Sharma is currently working as a postdoc senior researcher at Université Libre de Bruxelles, Belgium. He received his PhD and MA degree in computer science and engineering from Thapar University, India. His current research addresses privacy issues in blockchain technologies. His research interests also cover security threats in ad hoc networks. Dr. Sharma is a senior member of IEEE and he has co-authored more than 50 journal conferences, articles, and book chapters. I would request Dr. Gaurav Sharma to please start the guest talk for today.
Thank you. And the first question is, am I audible? Yes. Okay. Thank you. So thank you, all the organizers for inviting me for this session. And most importantly, thank you for conducting these sessions, because I feel these sessions are very fruitful for anyone who is working in the field of security. And especially if you are a beginner in this field, you can definitely take the benefit of these sessions. Now I will share my slides and just can you see it? Okay, thank you. So the title of the talk is Privacy Issues in Blockchain, and the agenda will be the introduction to blockchain and smart contract. Then I will talk a little bit about what is privacy, and then we will talk about privacy in blockchain. So yesterday I attended the last talk by Anshika, and it was security in blockchain system. And she very well introduced the blockchain, what is blockchain, and some security, some use cases where there were security threats. So blockchain is a chain of blocks containing time-stamped information, and the most important part here is there is no need of a trusted third party. So whatever you name a big organization, whether it is Facebook, Google, or any other Microsoft, we don't need any of these organizations, and we can still manage in a decentralized peer-to-peer manner, and trying to design applications based on this new architecture. And the main idea here is the information that we are trying to possess here is in the form of transactions, and these transactions are accumulated in the form of a block, and then these blocks are connected in the form of a chain. And to make sure that there is no one who can change any transaction or any information in these blocks, we make sure with the help of cryptographic hash. And this cryptographic hash is something like the hash of the previous block is kept in the next blocks, and so on. So if you plan to make changes in any of the previous blocks, then you have to change all the subsequent blocks until today. And that's difficult, of course. I would not say that's impossible, because in some situations, in some conditions, if you have a majority of stakes in the system, like 51% of the computational power, then you can do that. But in most of the famous blockchains like Bitcoin, Ethereum, where we talk about this, uh, this is not possible today. So if you compare it with the distributed ledger system, because in the first glance it seems like that we have a distributed and replica of all the data that we have on the blockchain. So the main difference here is we don't allow two operations. One is the delete operation, and other one is the update operation. So you cannot make any modifications. You cannot delete any of the previous record which is already entered in the blockchain. Additionally, since the inception of Ethereum, there is a concept of smart contract, which I will talk later, which is additional to the distributed ledger system, which is new to the blockchain. And in summary, I can say this is a append-only blockchain, distributed and replicated, and making sure that any of the data you cannot modify. So this is the basic architecture of any blockchain system. And if you see, there are two type of models here. One is permissionless and another one is permissioned model. In the case of permissionless, anyone can join the network. So you are allowed to submit the transactions, see others' transactions, have a copy of all the ledger. You can analyze whenever you want, and so this is like an open book to everyone. So anyone can see anything. In the case of permissioned blockchain, this is the idea, because most of the organizations or companies who wants to adapt blockchain as their innovative systems, they don't want to share these crucial informations, the banking informations, or any other you know important information with everyone else. So they came up with a new system, which is permission system, where you have to take permission from some authority to participate in the blockchain. So these two types of systems are very well known in the blockchain. And if you see these two type of systems, and on a parallel hand, you see there are two types of models, which are world state models. And these models are UTXO model and account based model. So in UTXO, it is like a wallet that we have in our pocket. We have some different currencies in our wallet, and when we plan to buy something, we give some of these currencies, some of these notes to someone else. So what happens basically? We gave him some notes. The person who is taking these notes, he will calculate whatever we are buying and give us the return change that we are liable to get. So what happens basically? Uh, you are spending something which is unspent in my wallet, and whatever I am getting, it is again unspent. So the most famous blockchain that we have is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is based on UTXO model. So it is unspent transactions that we have in our pocket, and the network has to make sure that which coins are already spent or which are unspent. So we have to make sure that there is no coin which is two times spent. So double spend is a common problem that we try to address whenever we try to design a blockchain. Another model is account model. It's because in the previous model we have to make sure which coins are spent, which coins are unspent. So in the account based model, we have another scenario, which is like a bank account. In our bank account, we see a consolidated balance, and from this balance we spent. So this type of model is adapted by Ethereum. So Bitcoin was the first blockchain by Satoshi Nakamoto, and then Ethereum was the next famous one with some additional capabilities, which is smart contract. So the model was different, and the main cryptographic techniques that we use here in blockchain are hash functions, digital signatures, and Merkle tree. So a hash function is a function which takes like arbitrary sequence of input, and it can output a fixed size of output. So this is definitely beneficial because we don't know the size of the transaction, and when we have to make sure that no one changes the transactions, we do the hash, and it makes sure that the integrity of the transaction is maintained. No one ever changes the transactions, because if you change the transaction, that means you change the hash. Then we have the digital signature. Digital signature is something like a signature scheme where you take the input, the message, and the private key of the signer, and you output a signature. For the verification, you take this signature and the public key of the signer, and you say whether it is verified or not verified. So whenever you submit a transaction in a blockchain, every time you have to submit a digital signature with it. And then we have a Merkle tree. So Merkle tree is something like this. We have all the transactions as the leaf, where we say data blocks. And these transactions are being hashed all together up to the point where we reach to a single node. And this single node is the root hash. And along with this root hash and all the transactions, we create a block where we say like 100 or 1,000 transactions in a block, and then we keep this hash of this whole block into the next block to maintain the immutability. So this is the basic blockchain structure. And to make sure that no one cheats, because someone can come up with like thousands of identities and can say, okay, I have a good share in the network and I can make decisions. So to avoid this kind of situation, this is like when someone comes up with multiple identities in crypto, we say it Sybil attack. And to avoid this kind of Sybil attack, the idea from Nakamoto was to to ask for some work, and this work is known as proof of work in their first model. And everyone has to do a lot of computations, and finally whoever wins will be the one who will add the block in the system. And there are multiple consensus algorithms adopted in different blockchains: proof of work, proof of stake, practical Byzantine fault tolerance, and many more. Proof of stake is also one of the important one, because it doesn't consume that much of resources that in comparison with the proof of work. And Ethereum recently finalized almost in the final stage. They are launching Ethereum 2.0 with the changed consensus, and they claim like we will save 99.9% energy with the change of proof of work to proof of stake. So the question is when to use a blockchain, because nowadays this is the trend. Like every company, every organization has a keyword like blockchain in their system. So actually, there is not a single bullet to answer this question, and the easiest answer is it depends upon the application, and you have to analyze it properly whether you really need a blockchain or not. In some situations, like in payment systems, notarizations, public proofs, value holdings, blockchain had some good use cases. And there are some use cases which are in production, so we can say yes, it is adopted very well. But in some use cases, like when you are sharing big data and some privacy issues we address, blockchain is not a very good choice if you don't make significant modifications in the underlying system. Then we will go to cryptocurrency is something which is very much many people think the same thing as blockchain, because everyone saw the same research paper which claimed blockchain and cryptocurrency the same idea altogether. So many people have the same feeling. So actually, cryptocurrency is a successful application of blockchain, and the examples are Bitcoin, Monero, Cardano, and Polkadot. So there are like more than 4 to 5 thousand cryptocurrencies nowadays. And the basic architecture that we talk here in the previous slides, like the hash of the previous block will go to the next block, and so on. Everything will go in the cryptocurrency, but additionally we have a native currency to support the transaction fee and so on. So we have Bitcoin, we have Ethereum, we have Hyperledger Fabric. So we have hundreds of thousands of cryptocurrencies these days. One important concept here is smart contract, which was introduced by Ethereum. So what Ethereum came up with, like in Bitcoin systems, there were some ideas to write scripts, but the idea to write these scripts was not Turing complete. So Ethereum came up with the idea to have a language which can write all the logic that you can think of. So they came up with a new language which is named as Solidity. And with Solidity, which is a Turing complete language, you can write your business logic in the form of a smart contract. In some different blockchains, the keyword, the smart contract, may be different. For example, in Hyperledger Fabric, they call it chain code, but ultimately the logic is more or less same. And if you see a smart contract with the help of one example, let's say there is an insurance company which insures the customers on the condition that if your flight is delayed by more than 2 hours, we will pay you some amount of money. And this kind of insurance can be written in a smart contract. And what a smart contract will do here, smart contract will take the inputs from the flight communications, and they can make sure whether the flight is on time or delayed by 2 hours. If that's the case, the customers who are insured with this insurance company, they will get the reimbursements immediately. So on the company end, you need not to do anything. But smart contract is a very crucial component of the system. Once it is deployed, you cannot change it. And there are a few examples where the contract had some bug and you lose like millions of euros. So be very careful when you design smart contracts. So if we go to privacy is a little bit contradictory with transparency, because here in blockchain, the most important idea that we see here is the transparency. And all the data is visible to everyone and so on. So what we want here, if you want to store something confidential, you cannot do it. Whenever you want to interact with the smart contract, interaction with the smart contract is through transactions. And since transactions are public, that means you cannot hide anything. Another important use case here is recently the European Union came up with this GDPR, this General Data Protection Regulation. And with this new regulations, the condition, the important aspect here is we want the customers to be forgotten. Like when I submit an application to a company and I'm not shortlisted for this particular company, the company has to forget me. So this is something, when you plan to put something on the blockchain, that means it is there for forever. But if you talk about GDPR, that means once the task is done, you have to forget me. That means the main control is in the user's hand. and this seems to be incompatible with GDPR. So, so privacy is an important aspect here. In the blockchain context, what we want in from the privacy perspective, we want the confidentiality of the transaction, like what amount I have in my wallet. I don't want to I don't want to give access to anyone. What amount I am transacting, this should be hidden, and the anonymity of the sender and the recipient. So we have to make sure who is transacting to whom. This should be hidden. And without anonymity, there is no privacy. So if we go to what exactly the Bitcoin, Ethereum, or whether they are anonymous or not, actually there is a myth that cryptocurrencies are anonymous, but actually they are pseudonymous. So when we say pseudonymity, that means you come up with some new identity, and this may or may not be related to your original identity, like your real identity. But what you try to do to make yourself anonymous, you have this new identity, and you try to produce it a new identity every time. So you want to make it unlinkable. So unlinkability means when you are interacting with some system multiple times, the system is unable to say whether this is the same user or it's a new user. So if we say anonymity, then we need two things. You have to come up with new identity all the times, and you have to make sure that your pseudonymity doesn't connect to your real identity. But actually, this doesn't happen. In pseudonymity, if you try to produce new public-private key pairs all the time and everything seems good, but when you try to exchange your bitcoins with Ethereum, you will go to some crypto exchange. That crypto exchange may ask for your real identity, so you will lose your identity, or or I can say you can connect your identity to your pseudonyms. There are some social traffic analysis where, like, your Facebook data or Twitter data had some real identity of yourself, and when you are making the cryptocurrency transactions with the same browser, you are disclosing your identity, or you are connecting your pseudonym with your real identity. There are especially there are some companies who are doing the same business, and this is de-anonymizing Bitcoin transactions, and the company is chain analysis, and there are many more. So it's not very easy to hide your real identity with when you are talking about making transactions with cryptocurrencies and so on. And if finally you have anonymity, there are some problems with full anonymity as well. So we see money laundering, child pornography, cyber stalking, fraud and phishing, spamming, intellectual property violations, and many more. So anonymity is okay. On one aspect, it seems to be a solution, but on the other aspect, government wants a better control of the things. So this is a bit contradictory. So what exactly we want from the blockchain perspective? We want the identity privacy, like the pseudonym and real identity disconnection. We want the transactions are unlinkable to each other. The content of the transaction is only known to the participants, and we want the off-chain identity of yours should not be connected to whatever you are using during the transactions. So how you can hide your off-chain identity? One way is you can become a full node, and full nodes in blockchain systems are like who are receiving others' transactions, relaying it to other nodes, and so on. So what you can do, you can receive like 99 transactions from others, add one of yours, and forward like 100 transactions to the network. No one probably will notice it. So this can be one naive way to produce yourself like I didn't do anything. Another way is use VPN, but in this case there are some pros and cons. The VPN services that you are getting from service provider, they may ask for your real identity. And again, in that case, you may connect your real identity with the pseudonyms. Another important aspect here is using Tor and I2P. So these are some foolproof solutions, although this is not, I cannot say this is impossible to track you down, but okay, these are better than VPNs. And in your browser, the cookies, they also form a fingerprint of yourself. So you have to make sure that you are not trackable easily. So the easiest solution, let's go for that, and that is let's encrypt the data. So whatever you are transacting, put it in a AES or any other encryption system and forward it when it is encrypted. So that is again a problem, and the problem is in most of the blockchains these days we talk about smart contract because this is the business logic of the system. And smart contract is the business logic, and it cannot process the encrypted data because all the full nodes in the system, they are running these smart contracts, and they have full transparency, like the full node can see what's going on in the smart contract, so everyone has access to this. So this solution of encryption is not going to work. And now we will see what blockchain platforms or cryptocurrency platforms are doing to make sure that there is some sort of privacy that we can offer to the users, and they can attract more and more users to say that okay, if you want to exchange some illegal content, okay, we are here to offer you one option which will hide your identity, which will hide the identity of the receiver, which will hide whatever you are transacting. So there is a possibility. So there are solutions which are trying to provide full anonymity. There are solutions which are trying to provide conditional anonymity. It depends upon what blockchain platform or cryptocurrency we are talking about. So in this cryptocurrency or blockchain domain, we have, as I mentioned, we have two types of models. One is permissionless, another one is permissioned. So from the privacy perspective, we have in permissionless, we have Monero, Gcash, and Dash, the most famous ones. On the permissioned environment, we have Hyperledger Fabric, Coda, and Quorum. Although there are many more cryptocurrencies or blockchain systems which are trying to provide privacy of some sort, but these are the ones which are having significant research behind it. So in the coming slides, I will particularly talk about Hyperledger Fabric, how they are providing privacy to their system. And then if the time allows, I will talk about briefly about permissionless blockchains. So in Hyperledger Fabric, we have few entities or few participants. One is the transaction participants, whether they can be reader, writer, or the administrator. We have a certificate authority. This is this global certificate authority, which is providing certificates to all the organizations. Then we have a membership service provider. This is the entity who is providing certificates to the users, to the end users, whether it is a reader, writer, or administrator. And then we have endorsers who are in the peer network. They are going to validate your transactions. Then there must be someone who is collecting these transactions and put it in a block. So there are ordering services for that. And finally, we have auditor who can audit the transactions. So this is the architecture of Hyperledger Fabric. We have endorsers, we have orderers, and the user. It can be like a reader, writer, or administrator. They will use their client application. They will submit the transaction, sign this transaction, send it to the endorser. Endorser will validate it, and then it will go to the orderer. Orderer will put it in the block and forward it to the other peers. And then finally, it will be included in the blockchain. So what privacy issues we are tackling here? We have transactional data privacy, state data privacy, chain code privacy, and user privacy. So how we are trying to address it? We have three different solutions depending upon the the granularity. So if we say the first solution is channels, channels is basically a coarse grain access to the chain code level. And if we talk in detail about channels, channels are basically participating the whole network into some specific subcomponents where there are some specific organizations want to interact. For example, here in Belgium, there are, let's say, 20 banks, and they want to have a blockchain in common. So what they can do, they can all have Hyperledger Fabric installed, and they can create a channel among them, and then they can submit their transactions, the communications that they are doing in the form of transactions, and it will go to the blockchain platform. So this is one solution to form a group of participants, form a group of organizations where the the communication is constrained to these organizations. Any other organization who is not part of this channel, they cannot see what is the current state of the ledger, what transactions are they are submitting to each other. And for this, in most of the cases, we need some business logic, so they call it chain code. So administrator is the party who can initiate a chain code, and in this case, the main cone here is the endorsers and orderers. They can see all the data. So we need to come up with some new solutions which can avoid that orderers cannot see the data or the endorsers cannot see the data, because these endorsers or these orderers are some peer nodes in the network, and these nodes can be like some counterpart in your business model. So you may not want that the transactions should be visible to them. So what you can do, you have another solutions, that is private data collection. So what we can do, we can submit the transactions, and maybe in the encrypted form, or maybe in a special database, and we can share it with the transaction. And this special data is known as transient data, and the chain code use this transient key and store the encrypted data on the peer, give it to the endorser, and endorser will make sure that it doesn't go to the orderer. So what the endorser will do, endorser will check, okay, all the data is perfect, and with whom you want to share, you have to mention it in the transactions, and then you have to mention it in the chain code, and then the endorser will receive this secret data and share it with the only participants who are mentioned in your chain code. So the hash of the data will go to the blockchain. So the peers who received the data, they can verify whether the transaction is valid or not. So in this case, the orderer of these transactions cannot see the data. So we have one more higher level of privacy. In the previous case, in the case of channels, the orderers and endorsers, like these are peer organizations. I don't want them to see my data. So in the case of channels, they can see this. But here in the case of private data collection, only the endorsers can see it. So is this solution sufficient? Actually, no, because we don't want the endorsers to see it. So the next solution came up with it is named as IDE mix, which is named as identity mixer. And whenever you are submitting your transactions, signing it with some digital signature, for example, in the case of Bitcoin, we use ECDSA, and there are some blockchains which use Snore signature. So with these signatures, whenever you want to submit these transactions, you have to present a certificate like the X509 certificate to claim that, okay, I am this party. Uh, so what happens here, when you declare that who are you, then there is no point of user privacy. So what this solution came up with, from the certificate that you are receiving from your membership service provider, you will convert it into a new certificate, which is known as one-time transaction certificate. And this certificate will make sure that you are a valid participant in the system. You can submit, you are allowed to submit this transaction, but the endorser will not know who exactly you are. For example, in one particular organization, there might be four managers or 10 team leaders, and let's say the team leader wants to submit a transaction. So the transaction, when the endorser will receive, the endorser will see, okay, this transaction is signed by one of the team leader, but they they don't know who is this transaction submitter. So they are always 1 by 10 probability for them. So this is the latest solution presented by Hyperledger Fabric. So these three type of privacy solutions basically provide you different granularity of solutions, and then you can choose which one you want, because they have different efficiency issues, because they are cryptographic solutions. And so IDMix seems to be the most advanced one, but still there are issues like all the credentials are issued by the same central entity. So this is still not addressed in the fabric, and currently we are working on that. So this is the scenario when we talk about one particular blockchain platform, which is Hyperledger Fabric. And Hyperledger is basically a project initiated by Linux Foundation and mostly contributed by IBM, and there are also more than 100 companies who are participating in this development. And Fabric is one of the solution trying to provide this permissioned environment with these specific features. And there are many more other than Fabric, which people are working, Hyperledger Cactus, and many more. So this was one example which provide some sort of privacy at different levels, and this was an example of permissioned blockchain. And in the case of permissionless blockchain, we have Monero, and we have Gcash and Dash. They came up with different solutions, because these are open blockchains. They are allowing everyone to participate in the system. They are allowing everyone to mine, submit transactions, and so on. So they need to come up with different solutions. So Monero came up with a different solution, and where they say, okay, we use ring signatures for hiding the sender. To hide the receiver, we use one-time addressing. To hide the amount of the transaction, they have different ring confidential transaction system. And to hide your real identity to your pseudonym, they have this Covery, which is an I2P router. So if I summarize here, I can say any of the solutions, whether it is Gcash, Monero, can be uh, it can be a fork of Bitcoin, it can be a fork of Ethereum, it can be an open blockchain, permission blockchain. You have to make sure what kind of cryptographic solutions are there, which can provide you some sort of anonymity, what level of anonymity you are looking for. For example, ring signature can provide you anonymity is like one by n, where n are the number of participants you include in the ring signature. On the other hand, if you go for Gcash, Gcash basically relies on zero knowledge proof system, which is a cryptographic concept, and where you try to prove someone that you have something, but without disclosing it. So these kind of different ideas, different blockchains came up with, and they are providing some sort of privacy. So probably I will stop here, because there are many solutions in blockchain systems where they try to provide some sort of privacy with different cryptographic concepts. and probably I will stop here, and I am open for questions.
Wonderful, Gaurav. It was really, very thoughtful presentation. Actually, the I like the way you organized the, right from explaining what blockchain, architecture is consist of, and you went into delve into the smart contracts. You also touch base on the privacy aspects of it, like, especially I like that how you presented that, hey, which are the different use cases in which the blockchain can be used, good versus bad, and if something that is bothering you, how you can improve the security, how you can improve the privacy aspect of it. So I think um, main features of the blockchain that people are normally going forward is this ledger capability. It's also the anonymity in some cases. So I think this presentation is gonna really helpful to the audience who is if they are new to the blockchain terminology, or if they are a seasoned technology professional but they want to learn, enrich their knowledge about blockchain and data around the data privacy is gonna be helpful. We have one more audience that although we have on our list but they could not attend today because of their work commitments, is the cyber risk management industry. They are very much eager to learn about this technology, because when some startup creates a solution based off the blockchain technology, here they need to understand what are the risks they are covering for a given business. So
Yes,
this is also the another type of audience we have that who wants to really know from the liability perspective. If I'm writing a cyber insurance for a given startup or a business who is using blockchain, what are the possible risks? What are the possible claims that may arise out of it? So I think all these aspects that you mentioned is gonna be very helpful, and we may also invite you to a dedicated workshop sometime where more industry executives may want to learn or get enriched with you or collaborate with you. So we'll be doing some activities separately from the event. But we are very much thankful that you took so much time to prepare the presentation and deliver
thank you,
it.
thank you,
Yeah, in spite of all the challenges, you came here and supported us.
Thank you,
thank you very
Gaurav.
much.
That was very nice. But we have one question.
Yes.
It's from Eva. She says, like, I have a confusion. Is cryptocurrency legal in India, and how can we invest in it? Also, it is safe.
Okay, I will try to answer. Okay, cryptocurrency is legal in India, first of all, uh, but the government is not liable for your losses. So there is no regulation to consider when you go to police station that I lose this much of money. They are not going to write an FIR for you, because here the whole game of the system is relies on two terms, which is public key and private key. Public key is the address that you are giving to someone to receive or transfer the money, and private key is the one who is giving you the access to this money. So if you lose the private key, that means your money is gone, and no one is going to be responsible for this one. And there are many examples where people lost millions of euros. So this is very crucial, and there are some solutions. There are some new wallets who are providing this kind of solutions, like providing some threshold cryptography, dividing your private key into multiple parts, and you cannot rely on one particular system. And but still, most of the crypto exchanges or wherever you are going to register, uh, they will provide you one private key, and they will ask you to keep it secure, write it on the paper, put it in the bank, and so on. So you have to be very careful when investing in the blockchain, in the cryptocurrency market. And the next question was how you can invest in it. So the easiest way to invest in cryptocurrencies is go to the crypto exchange. In India, there are many. One of them is Wajirex, and there are some. Okay, you can just Google it. So there are many crypto exchanges who provide cryptocurrencies, and they will accept your currency. Like in India, especially, they can accept INR. So you can pay with your debit card, credit card, or your UPI wallets, and you can buy the cryptocurrency. So you can own the cryptocurrency just by paying the INR. And once you have the cryptocurrency, you will have a private key, you will have an address, and you want to trade with it, you want to sell it, you want to buy it at, you want to sell it at some later point of time, you can definitely do that. So you can just go to this same platform where your cryptocurrency is, and you can just click on the trade and you can sell it. So very easy. But again, just want to you know just make sure that these cryptocurrencies that people deal with, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so on, they are very volatile. In one night you can lose everything that you have. So so please make sure whenever you are planning to invest. If you want more information, you can ask for my email ID or phone number. I can give more details about it.
Yeah, sure, Gaurav. So it was really nice. And I think one last question. Developers would be more interested to know what platform or what development tools are available to use the blockchain technology into their new app development. Say, if
Yes,
you
yes.
want to have the benefits of, so.
Okay. So mostly, if you want to develop some application on the top of blockchain, uh, most of the people are interested in that. So the Solidity, the Golang, like the Go language, and JavaScript. These are the main languages where even Java, some platforms supports Java. So you can write these contracts, and Python is one of the most important, because if you are dealing with crypto, so you may write some cryptographic codes in Python. So these are some languages where you can develop the codes in blockchain. But whenever you choose a platform, for example, if you choose Hyperledger Fabric, you you have to make sure like which particular language you are interested in, and whether they support this type of platform. So if you go for Hyperledger Fabric, I can say Go is the most famous one. Even you can write codes in other languages as well, in the Rust and I think in Java. But the most famous one, because the main architecture is developed in Go, so it's better to write in that.
Yeah, I think thank you for that gem of knowledge, and I think there are so many much valuable points throughout the presentation. I think yeah, it's very good, and I encourage our audience and students in the audience to summarize your learnings, and also you can post on the social media and also tag us, so that if somebody needs more learning, you can be reach out. So definitely, we'll invite you once again. You have been presented in a most simplistic way that people can understand. So thank you very much, Gaurav, again.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Gaurav. So I like to invite Eva to give introduction of our next guest.
Yes, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Am I audible now?
Yes,
Sorry for the inconvenience earlier.
no problem.
Okay, ma'am. So our next guest speaker is Dhaval Shah. So Dhaval Shah is the co-founder, CEO, and CTO of Rainbow Secure Technical Design and Compliance Efforts. He graduated with master's degree in computer applications and did his undergrad in computer science. He has about 21 years of experience working in industry verticals like software product company, pharma, utility, retail, financial services, government, and healthcare, where he solved complex business challenges and learned best practices. He has also studied business risk and liabilities domain and acquired property and casualty license for the state of New Jersey. Today, his company is a successful technology innovator, workplace solution designer, enabling digital transformation. I now welcome Sir to take on and start with his presentation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Eva, for your kind introduction. Yeah. Let me present my slides.
So today Dhaval was presenting a topic on the use of artificial intelligence in cybersecurity. So currently, the cyber attack surface in a modern enterprise environment is massive and it's continue to grow rapidly. This means at me analyzing and improving an organization's cybersecurity postures need more human intervention. So, Dhawal, are you ready for that?
Yes, I'm ready. Just a second.
Okay, so I'm not taking so
I,
much time for you.
yeah, I'm just a second. Yeah, I'm doing it.
So at least we can chat later till then. Dhaval was ready. You can give your thoughts in a chat. How did you like Gaurav sir presentation? Okay. Or you can just give us some emojis so we can know at least your feedback. Yay. Thank you, Eva. Eva says it was very informative and really she likes it. Thanks. And Shashi ma'am said it was very insightful. Also, it was beautifully explained. Yes, it was.
Let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yes, we are.
Yes, yeah. So everyone would have heard the term artificial intelligence in different ways in different domains, especially when we talk about current buzzwords like blockchain, AI, machine learning. Everyone thinks of something a massive smart program doing all the magic. But what does that mean is that now, apart from humans, there is another entity who is able to perform some task or actions that you may like, you may be surprised, or you may be even shocked. So, with artificial intelligence, the main here, the topic here, cybersecurity is also not untouched. Now, let's see how artificial intelligence plays a vital role here. The cyber attack surface in modern enterprise environments is massive and is actually growing rapidly. This means that analyzing and improving an organization's cybersecurity posture need more than just an human intervention. So now, how we can take help here? Now, AI actually in cybersecurity presents you with many advantages and applications in variety of areas. Cybersecurity being one of them. With fast evolving cyber attacks and rapid multiplication of devices, IoT, bot supernets, all those, they are actually what they're doing. They are actually trying to help you keep ahead of the cyber criminals. They help you automate threat detection and respond more effectively than the conventional software driven or manual techniques. Manual monitoring is always good, but now with the advent of AI, there are few advantages that I'm gonna describe in a short moment. So everyone knows that bots make up a huge chunk of internet traffic, and today it's reaching the point of you can't call it a dangerous because it does everything from account takeovers with stolen credentials to bogus account creation and data fraud. In many ways, you can still defeat the bots like by using rainbow secure authentication to mitigate the account credential takeover fraud. But there are other areas where they can still do lot of malicious data injection and other ways that what you offer to the user, same bot can try to learn and do it. So now what you do to handle these threats better, you need an automated ways also. So to tackle it, AI and machine learning help build a thorough understanding of website traffic and distinguish between the good bots versus bad bots. Especially you are say trying to protect your bank website or you're trying to protect online platform, for example say voting system, or say you're trying to protect or your healthcare portal, right? So here you have to make a judgment. You have to see how the current threat landscape looks like, and you can deploy the AI. For example, AI enables you to actually analyze vast amount of data that normally you cannot do it in a short amount of time while responding to threats. So it actually allows your cybersecurity teams to adapt to a new strategy and also fight the bots in their own language. By looking at the behavioral patterns, actually business are now getting answers. What the average journey of the business workflow is, and from here we can say that anything from analyzing the traffic to the actual user behavior, all is getting encapsulated when you have AI on your side. Now let's see, what are the different ways AI is helping us. AI can be used to spot cyber threats and possibly malicious activities, like your bot might be trying to mimic your end user and try to log into your crypto system or log in to your trading equity trading platform. The traditional software systems simply cannot just keep the pace with the sheer number of new malware that has been created every day, which may be sitting on your IoT, on your cell phone, and so on. So here, by using sophisticated algorithms, AI system can be actually trained to detect malware, run pattern recognition, and even smallest behavior of ransomware attack can be detected before they create a havoc. AI actually allows you for superior predictive intelligence with natural language processing. So it actually curates the data as it learns. It's not going to give you the benefits at the onset. You have to actually feed proper data. So it's actually doing learning. It's actually also you can feed the different cyber intelligence feeds onto it, so it knows. Now, with the anomalies, the attacks, and the prevention strategies in place, cyber criminals are also trying to follow the AI. So while AI can be giving you the best cybersecurity system with the latest knowledge on the threats that are prevalent, it's necessary to formulate a strategy for that. So let's see what we have here. So AI actually is going to help you determine, say, best area to focus by looking at your IT asset inventory, your users, work behaviors, your data flows, and also which applications are running when. So this is actually a very, very good way to not only have proper eye on what's going on, but it's beyond what humans can do. It is something that once you are providing the algorithm, it's gonna try to learn how your environment operates. So prescriptive insights from AI-based analysis actually is enabling you to configure and improve your control and processes, and thereby it helps you reinforce your cyber resilience. Now, with the number of devices, everyone working remote, we have digital transformation in place, so many ways users and employees interact with the system. It's necessary that we have to secure those endpoints. So there are many options, like we do deploy antivirus solutions, we do deploy VPNs, we do also deploy, say, graphical security platform like Rainbow Secure on the front end, but you still have to deploy your protection against the backend threats, against what if it's a compromised device. So this can be actually tailored. AI can be actually deployed to understand the signature of the malware, to understand how the traffic flows through it. So this is going to actually raise the real-time threat alerts to the admins, to by giving you proper risk analytics, just like how we do in Rainbow Secure advanced security module. We help you actually identify the real-time threats, and same way any AI system should do. So here, this is the another advantage where you get better endpoint protection with AI deployment. Now everybody must be thinking, hey, okay, AI is going to help you with this, help you with that. So now, but what's the actually infosec people, cybersecurity people are thinking about it? So one of the latest research from Capgemini Research Institute says that the AI is here to stay by helping you reinvent the cyber resilience strategy. So while it's helping you do that, the also the support that we have been seeing from the infosec people is tremendous. They are already agreeing that regardless of what are the disadvantage of AI, like cyber criminals are using it, there are obviously better advantage, because better preparation from your side is gonna help you. You can't deny hackers the right to, if he might be using AI, he might be using it, but you have to deploy AI to best of your abilities from your side. So it's all depends on deployment. So about 3 to 4, every out of 5, every 4 executives say that they are planning to deploy AI to respond faster to the data breaches. 70% of the organizations say that they are going to allocate funding for that, and almost everyone is agreeing that the help that they're getting from AI-enabled identity and access management solutions is the first priority for them. Whenever they are going to make a purchase decision, that's going to be their priority. So now let's see what are the actually the downsides. As I just mentioned that you cannot say no to the hacker that don't use AI, right? I will give you a example of that. Many people are actually afraid that what if the AI system gives you a false positive. Actually, false positives is still a better than getting a no insight at all. With tons and tons of the analytics and data you are collecting, you need more and more people and more analytic alerts to handle that. And with alerts also getting too much, you need a smart system which can shuffle through the complete haystack of these alerts and all these results, and on the analytics you are generating on the backend. So here, although you might think that AI is making you so much busy with, or making, turning off your system sometime, but it's all for, better protection. You can always configure your system and, retune it and fine tune it. Continuing on the usage of AI by hackers, there was a recent example where the iPhone's Face ID feature was analyzed using neural networks, and hackers could actually create an image that could bypass the Apple's Face ID security feature. So while hackers might do it, in few ways, but it's always necessary that to look at the bright side of the things. If hacker is doing something, why not you use the AI to improve your defenses? Why not you improve the solutions you are deploying it? So this is always going to be a cat and mouse game, but when there is a new technology, new solution available, it's always to deploy it to your advantage. I would here, conclude by saying that, humans no longer can scale to the, the efficiency and the enormous task on hand to secure the enterprises, to secure the large scale business workflows that we have today compared to the pre-pandemic era. Now, most of the industry is going online, and there is tons of data being generated, systems are being accessed, uh, business has been done, education is online now, healthcare is there, even in the vaccine research is online. So on one side, while AI is helping the vaccine research to move fast forward, AI can be deployed to protect the vital IP for the business. So I would here conclude my presentation by saying that, always go for the AI for good, and also help your fellow industry leaders to better adopt AI. Thank you. Now I would open the floor for any questions if anybody has. This presentation will also be available for offline viewing on demand on our YouTube channel. So please don't forget to subscribe to Rainbow Secure YouTube channel, where all the exciting presentations from last 4 days and going forward are available. And we are also live currently on YouTube and Facebook. So if you don't have time to join in a networking, you can still watch it on YouTube and follow it.
Thank you so much, Dhaval sir, for sharing with us. I think the presentation was very insightful, and I believe all the participants here feel very motivated, and I think they'll be encouraged to join AI field. I think that's very good.
Yeah,
And,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, we will
And
provide the
now,
opportunities for the students who are interested to pursue the AI in cybersecurity. Rainbow Secure will stand behind them and help them by giving them opportunities to learn and also collaborate.
yes, sir. I think so. That's very helpful for all of us, and I think this is like the best opportunity that we students could get at this point of our like graduation and our masters in whatever field we are. I think it's just a step on and add on for all of us. And now I would like to know if somebody is having any questions for sir.
I think we can invite the next speaker um, for her
Okay, sir, sure.
presentation.
Okay, so if anyone has any questions, they can still ask later on the website or on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
They can
you
connect
can
with sir
email
on
us
LinkedIn.
or ping us, and we will definitely be able to guide you.
Yes,
And yeah.
yes, sir. Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so our next guest speaker is Priya Aggarwal. So, Priya Aggarwal is a MTech Cybersecurity first year student in IGD2W, New Delhi. After 3 years in designing, She started her journey in designing in lockdown, which was a turning point for her career, and which was in by which she did by participating in an online competition in her BTech graduation. She has worked in different domains of designing. Currently, she is working as a UI UX designer for UV Robots, a company which is based in London. She has worked in various sectors such as e-commerce, education, and robotics. She has also worked as a graphic designer at Half Cute, a company based in Bangalore. She is a freelancer of UI UX design and has now started building interest in cybersecurity as well. So I now invite Miss Priya to start with her session, and I thank you, Miss Priya, for taking her time for us and sharing her knowledge with all of us.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Eva, for inviting me, and thank you, sir and ma'am, for giving me this opportunity. So today I'm going to talk about UI UX design and how you can pursue your career in UI UX design. So I would like to share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes, Priya, you may continue.
So I would like to ask my viewers and everyone who's present here, what do you see in this picture? Like, I want to make this session very interactive. So if you could just comment down and tell me what exactly do you understand by this picture?
So you can write in a chat so we can read about for you.
Yes, we can. Like, you can just tell me what do you exactly understand by this picture? Anyone?
So Eva says it's a 3D something, 3D picture.
Okay, so no, it's not a 3D picture. So I'm going to explain you what UI UX is. UI is user interface and UX is user experience. So what happens, like what you see in this picture, UI is basically the visual representation of how a object or anything is looking, like how it looks like. Now this is a ketchup bottle and this is also a ketchup bottle. But what do you think, if you are a customer, you're going to prefer the first bottle or the second bottle? Anyone?
Yeah, I think people will go with the second bottle.
Yes, they will. And any reasons for that?
Yeah, I can answer. Let's see if somebody wants to answer, or I can go for that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I
So,
think it's more about the usability wise that the second bottle is more easy to grab, more easy to place, and
Yeah,
yes,
it looks bigger.
so
yes.
looks like people will, yeah.
So, I'm going to show you another picture and everything will get clear. So, you see this? If I am the user, I'm using the first bottle. I have to, sometimes it might be possible I get a lot of ketchup into my hot dog, or sometimes a very less, and I am taking a lot of time. But when I'm using the second bottle, like my experience of using that particular product is much much better than the experience of my first product. Like the amount of ketchup that I required is apt in the second picture. So if I am happy with the experience that I'm gaining with the second bottle, I'm going to use that product again and again. And if I'm not happy, I'm not going to opt for that product again. So the main difference between UI and UX is same. UI is basically the interaction between the applications and the website. How easily a user gets through the target. Like if you want, like for example, if you have Instagram, now, if I'm a new user, how easily will I be able to post a picture and how long will I take? Is the interface really good for me to, post a picture, or I am not able to understand? So, this is the basic difference between UI design and UX design. So, I'm going to give you some like I'm going to make a proper UI for you so that you will get a proper experience of how to work on UI UX, and if you want to opt your career in UI UX. So for this session, I'm using Figma. Figma is an online tool for UI designs, and people nowadays are usually shifting towards UI design because it's saving a lot of time for company and also the development cost. What used to happen was that the developer used to code the whole application, and just because of some few changes he had to rewrite the whole code. To save that development cost and to save that particular time, the UI UX came in, that you will design the whole application. The person whose application this is, he's going to view the whole application. If any changes are there, he's going to do all the changes in the particular design, and then it will go for development. By doing this, we are going to save a lot of time, and also whatever the user is like, user is actually testing the designs that we have made. So this is how the whole process will be working. So we have three things in our UI design. First is the wireframing. Second is prototyping. First is wireframing, second is high fidelity, and third is prototyping. And then you can test with the user. So this is the interface in which you are going to design. From like this icon, all these are the cardboards. Now, if you want to make for a phone, or you want to make for a tablet or a desktop, you can choose any one of them. If I choose a desktop, I get this platform, and any design that I'm going to do will be in this platform only. And like right now, we are going to make a design for like a the phone application. So I'm going to choose any one of these. So let's say iPhone 11 Pro Max, which are 414 into 896 pixels. So I've got this cardboard. Now, all these other tools, like you have a rectangle, you have a line, you have an arrow, and a lot, you can even place images. So first we are going to do a simple wireframe of 2 pages, and then we are going to convert it into a high fidelity, and then we are going to do a prototyping, what your users are actually going to feel when that particular design will be turned into a proper application which is available in your app and play stores. So I'm going to grab this rectangle tool, and let's start with placing a box that, okay, this is my image, and I want a nav bar that when a person is coming in my particular design. So in phone, you don't have like a lot of like space to adjust everything. So we have this nav bar. So if you are going to click on that, now you see these red mark. All this means that you are going to align it in the same alignment. Like it shouldn't be you have like a more of towards the red, like towards left or towards right. So this is my nav bar. I'm going to place an image here. I'm going to create a button so that if a user is coming into my profile, he's going to click on that button and he can redirect himself to another page. So here I create a button. Now I want my button to have a bit of a roundness. So all these are the design. Like you want to do any changes, you want to do any color changes, everything will be done with the right panel. So if I want to give my, see, I've given a proper dimension to my button. I'm going to place it here. Let's add some text. Now we have this, and we are going to adjust the font size. Now always buttons are not always empty, so there's always a text. You go to any button, there's always a text. So let's just take with that this is the home screen. And when you'll click on the next, you are going to go to the second page. Let's just copy the first page because our nav bar is going to be same, and to copy all you have to press is shift and alt in your keyboard. Now here I'll just shorten the image. I'll add a little more text about the details of the particular program. and then we can just remove this button. And also we can, we can just add one paragraph here. And to, like, usually in prototype, when you are doing a wireframing, all you take is lorem ipsum text. So you can just directly go to Google and type lorem ipsum. All this is a dummy text, so they are not going to get, like, you're not going to get paid, and it's not illegal to take such dummy text. I'm just going to copy, paste. One second. Actually, the text is, I don't know, it's not coming. Okay. We're going to select the whole text and we are going to decrease the font size. The minimum font size that we use in a phone application is basically 12 pixels. So the 12 pixel is the minimum, and if you go below that, then you'll have a problem because the user is not, like, the user will not be able to read that particular text. So you have to keep in mind the text font size and everything, that what kind of font you are using, is it visible to the users or not. So all this comes into designing. You have to keep everything in mind. Now we are going to copy this button, and for example, we say now he has to buy this particular product. If you go to any company, they are not going to directly start with coding. They are going to first create a particular design, and after that they are going to put that framing into coding. So this is called a wireframing. In wireframing, it's a gray, white and black thing. Now, this wireframing will be turned into a high fidelity design. A high fidelity design has proper text, proper colors, and proper pictures. So we are going to copy all of this. You're like, we don't do high fidelity in wireframing itself. We always do a copy and then we work on it. Now, we have like, Figma provides a lot of plugins, so you don't have to, like, go to some different browser and search for an image. You can directly search for plugins here, and you can browse the plugins. Like, I already have like few of my favorite plugins. So like, FreePic is one of the top most platform for taking free pictures. So let's say that we are selling pets. So I'll take this image, and you have to just click on the particular object where you want to place your image and then click on the picture. It will directly adjust itself. It's all responsive. You don't have to do a lot of things. Now I want my navbar to be a little good for the users to understand that yes, it is a navbar. I'll change the color, I'll increase the stroke size, and I'm going to adjust it in the, like, same distance. Our navbar and our image, the front is ready. Now I want my button color to be changed, so I'm going to change it to, this is my eyedropper tool, and I want the same color which is in the background of my dog. So I'm going to pick this eyedrop color and I'm going to drag it to the picture and click on it. See, my background color is same as, like, you can just choose, like, mostly what companies do, they go for their logo brand colors. So this is the high fidelity design. Same I'm going to do with the second screen. I'm going to select the rectangle. I'll go into my plugin, select whichever plugin you want. Then again, you can choose any picture. I'll search for dog. Let's take this. We have one more picture, and now, like, I'm going to copy the same navbar because we have to keep a consistency in our design, because if there's no consistency, the design is not good. So you have to keep in mind that everything is same and aligned in a particular position. Now all this is my content. I'm going to make this button color same as the previous one, because again we have to go with the consistency. And since we have kept next as white color, we are going to convert this by also as white color. So now this is our high fidelity design. You see the difference between the wireframing and high fidelity. Wireframing just gives you a basic outlook of how your application or a web page will look like, and high fidelity gives you a proper response at what your users are going to look. If you code this particular design and then it's available in your app store and play store, then this is what the users are going to look. Now, since our prototyping is this is our second step of high fidelity. Now we move into prototyping. Prototyping is basically that you connect, like if I click on next, I'm supposed to go to this page. So this is prototyping, how a user is going to interact with the following design. For prototyping, Figma has everything. You can design also in Figma and you can prototype also in Figma. So in the right side, right panel, you see prototype. We click on prototype. Now, what I want to prototype is that when I click on next button, it should take me to this page. Simple. I'm going to click on next. I see this plus sign. I'm going to hold it, drag it to the next page. That's it. Now, we have more options also. Now what do you want? Like, I can click on image, on click it will take me, or when I hover on next it is going to take me to the next page. When I'm pressing it, or when I'm pressing the right key in my keyboard or a left key. So these are all the animations, and you have to look that what is the best animation that is going to look for your users. So right now we are going to choose that on click, when we click on next, it will be taking us to the new page. Now to view that yes, this has actually happened, we are going to click on this preview button, which is here, present. You just click on it. It will show you the first screen. Just a second. So this is your prototyping. Now, as we have seen before, if I click on next, it will take me to the next page. This is what we prototype. If I am a user and this is the first screen that I'm seeing, if I click on next, I should go to the next page, and we have already done the prototyping. So you see that you don't see a hand anywhere here, but if you go to that particular button, you see a hand. So when I click on next, I go to the next page. This is what prototyping is. And once the prototyping is final, this particular design is gone to a developer. He codes the following, like everything he codes, and then the user is experiencing it. To test this, we also send this prototyping file to our users. We tell them to interact with the design and tell us what is wrong, what is easier, and where they are facing the difficulties. So this is how we are saving a lot of time, a lot of money in a company. Now, since it's 2021 and like we have some upcoming trends in UI UX. So first is that typography. You have to be very careful about typography and what kind of fonts you are using in your particular design. Is it visible to the user? Is it fitting to your theme? If not, why is it not fitting? Which other fonts do you use? We have a lot of fonts. Some are mentioned here. The most famous are Roboto, Times Square's Roman. You use it in your MS Word also because they are like very famous. Now we have two types of typography, sans serif and serif. Sans serif is a simple font, and you see the difference. We have always a slanting line. You see N, you always have a slanting line. This indicates that, you know, if you want to convey something very strong, a strong meaning or something, we go for serif fonts. But if you want to portray some very light message or something very soft, we usually prefer sans serifs. Second is using the big images. Big images is some another trend which we are following these days. So I'm going to redirect you to my portfolio to show you this. This is my portfolio. It's on Behance. It's an online platform where you can create your portfolio and people are going to look and they can even hire you for your work. So if I open this project, see, half of our image, it's just the image and a particular text. We are covering up half of our phone screen with the image. And sometimes even we cover a full screen. The same we did with our prototyping. We are covering half of our screen with the image, as you see here. So this is a trend which is becoming less of text and more of image because image speaks 1,000 words, as everyone knows. Second is animations. You see, if you go to any particular phone or you go to any website, you see a lot of animation. Everything is done in Adobe XD and Figma. I'll show you example of animation as well. All this is done in Adobe XD and Figma. You can, I'll share you my link. You can have a look about the work, and if you have any doubt how to do, you can contact me anytime on Behance itself. If we want to see what animations are, now this is a hair grooming app that usually iPhones use to stare your bitmojis. So what will happen if I'll click on the hair, it is going to change. All these are animations which are done in Adobe XDs and Figma. If I want long hair, I can change them. So all these are animations which, because of which the users are, very interacting with the apps and you enjoy doing it. Same is happening here. And animation is also a very good field to start your career if you are not interested in coding. They pay you a very good sum of money and it's a very good field to opt for. All these are animations. What will happen, how user will interact, how your icons are going to move. You can go through this, you can have a look. You can see one more animation. It is also done in Adobe XD. If I click on, this is a just a card. So all these are animations. You see this thing is going down, how it is turning. All this is animation, and right now in 2020 animations are trending. Second is neomorphism. Neomorphisms are a simple design which is inspired by your phone calculators. They are simple and sophisticated, so people are actually moving through neomorphisms because it has a very light appearance. They are very soft, not very hard to use for the particular user that is using. Second, we have class morphism. Class morphism, we use layer styling in which we have a background and everything that is above that background has a blur on it. All this is called glass morphism. It just looks like a glass. If you see a crooked glass, it just looks like that. So this is also trending in 2021. A lot of big companies, they are going through it. If you have a look at very good apps, they use neomorphism, especially the trending apps like the new technology apps. Second is illustration. Illustration is the most common things to be used in our UI UX, and they give a sense of story. They tell you a story that what is happening, how it is happening, and you can also create illustration in Adobe Illustrator. It is a application provided by Adobe. And before, I would like to suggest that if you are planning your career in designing, first you should go through Adobe softwares. That is, you should learn graphic designing first because you'll have an idea of how typography is used, what fonts are used, how to align a particular object. Start with basic designing of an Instagram post. You can directly jump into UI UX, but it's just a suggestion if anyone is looking for a UI UX. And when it comes into user experience, we are just testing the user because at the end you are going to sell anything you make to your users. So you do a lot of market research, what your user wants and where he's lagging, what he wants, and how is it going to interact. You do all the particular research over it, and then you make a particular design, so that you're not wasting a lot of time, you're not wasting your money, and the user is also happy and he's using your products again and again. So I think that was all from my side. If anyone has any like questions or anything, they can ask me.
Very good. Actually, it was, you presented, by following the concepts of UI and user experience. Your presentation itself was based out of that concept. I think it's very essential that no matter what systems you design, no matter what business workflow you design, there has to be consideration given to the user experience. And at Rainbow Secure also, it's our main motto to provide a better security with user experience. That's where I think focus should be, whether you are providing an endpoint monitoring solution, or you are providing risk analytics, or you are providing a login authentication. If you don't do it in the right way, then users will feel stressed, they will get bored, or they may feel like they may try to take shortcuts around it. So I think you are right on the point that anybody who is wanting to contribute in any way to the digital transformation story, or even for the cyber security, they should also learn few things about user experience, and they can help. So here we can invite anybody who wants to learn more about this. They can reach you out, and also they can contact Rainbow Secure as well. We'll help you facilitate that and have somebody help us also design a better UX friendly platform for our community and for our audience. So anybody here who have any questions want to ask to Priya?
I have shared my Behance link. If anyone wants to go through it, they are please most welcome. And you can message me on Behance itself. I'm online. Like I'm 24/7 online there. And also, if you are looking for a career option in designing, like you can learn, there are a lot of tutorials in YouTube. Like, make Google your friend. Like, literally, Google has everything. I haven't taken any coaching, I haven't done anything. It's all Google and self learning and a little bit motivation from my seniors and mentors. So,
Very
just
nice. Nice.
learn from Google, from YouTube, and if you want to get an internship to get a proper experience, then you can go for Internship, and also we have Work India. Work India and Internship are the two platforms. They're going to give you a paid internship. You can learn a lot from there.
Sure, sure. Yeah,
So
definitely. You
I
can
have
share
a
these
question.
details, and we can share with the audience as well. So, they can get motivated, they can get any help, any resources, you can definitely share with us here on the feed or on the, event chat.
So I have a question for Priya. So
Yes, ma'am.
which platform you are using and where did you get it? Like if I want to use this same platform that you have, so where
Okay.
can I get that?
Okay, Figma is basically a online platform. All you can do is go to Google and search Figma, Figma. It's a free tool. Only some of the functionalities are paid, so it's a free tool. Anyone can go and explore, and all the plugins which are there in Figma are free of cost. You don't have to pay a single penny to work on them, and even you can make teams. If you are one of the user and I'm one, we both can work together in Figma on the same particular
So
application.
is it a difference like what's the difference is like a Canva and Adobe
Okay,
and
ma'am, Canva and Adobe are basically the tools in which you make creatives, like you make slides and Instagram posts. It's just the visual representation. You can't interact with it. But Figma is basically a prototyping tool. You can interact with the designs. You can let your users interact. More than five people can work into it together. So this is a UI tool, like you can interact into it. But Photoshop, Canva, they are the designing tool. Graphic designers mostly use Photoshop
so
and Canva.
you said this one is help you to design front end,
Yes.
and like if some developer wants to convert this design into their front end, how they can
Yeah, like, is there any tool that will help you generate screens or HTML pages for based on this graphics
You
created?
you can't write a code in these tools. They are just for your visual
No, no.
representation.
Is there other tools that feeds on the Figma and they
because
give you?
sometimes they have some partners who can
Ye-
provide similar kind of like a tool, so they can have this.
Yeah, like for example, you just mentioned the glass-based theme, or you just
Yeah,
mentioned
all
the
these
top
all
theme.
are done in Adobe XD and Figma itself because they are providing that functionality.
Mm-hmm.
Like we are using this tool because it's going to take less time. You can do the same thing in Adobe, but it's not a preferred platform to design a UI because there you have to adjust everything and it's going to take a lot of time when like that's why Figma and Adobe are going to take less time. They have all the functionality and you have very limited tools. Like as you see, we have just 5 to 6 on our top bar and everything is done with them only. But if you go to Adobe Photoshop, you have like 50 here and 40 here. So that's why these tools are made to make your work easy and simpler.
Right, right.
Okay, so before we get any confirmation from client, you just design this prototype and get them to approve, then you can put
Then
it
they
in
can, I think, use the traditional
development mode.
tools, yeah, like
Yes.
HTML5 or .NET or Java. People can
Yes,
continue to use
then you
those
can
tools.
convert it
Yeah,
into any programming language in the world. But once the user is happy with the interface, the interaction of you're going to save a lot of time and money also here. So,
yes, yes. I think it's a very nice presentation and nice idea that UX should be given a thought. Now, this will be a like assignment for the students attending here. Is that find a way to convert these beautiful designs into your code in much easier way. The way easier you design it. Now it's a challenge for here people attending like Siti or Pujan or anybody else here. Hey, find a way to convert the UX that you design in Figma into the HTML5 websites or HTML or .NET based web applications. So I think we can have that as an some kind of session topic in future.
Thank you,
yes,
Priya.
Thank you, Priya.
thank you.
Ma'am, I would also like to add something.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Sure.
has she? I think she left.
No, 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 she's here.
No, no, I'm here. You want to like ask a question?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
here.
No, I just want to, I just want to give a feedback. It was like very nice, very informative, and I actually thoroughly enjoyed it because it was like really creative. So it's like I really enjoyed it.
And if
Thank
someone wants to join and say something about Priya, please raise your hand so I can invite you on a stage.
like if anyone has any question, okay. Shashi ma'am is asking from where to start. So ma'am, basically I would recommend that you should first learn graphic designing, that is basic Adobe Photoshop and Canva, because you're going to learn a lot about typography, how to align, how to set an image. You are going to learn about user, that if I have a post on Instagram, for how long the user is interacting with that particular post. But yes, you can directly jump to UI UX, but it's very important to clear your fundamentals first to jump into a higher level of designing. And you can have like there are a lot of resources on YouTube. You can just write UI courses and you'll have like thousands of videos and playlists and you can like view any, like it's concept is same, you don't need any coding. So it's very easy to learn. It's just like how you are presenting your thoughts into a particular design.
Very nice, very nice. I like the way you started the presentation by invoking the audience from the first slide itself by asking about the ketchup bottle.
Thank you, sir.
So, Let's like already our session is going more and more long. Instead of getting so much weight, let's meet in a launch and have some one-on-one networking opportunity. So what we do, like once you go in a launch, join a table where we are there and you can meet us. Or if you want to do some speed networking, just click on that. Okay, bye.
Thank
So
you.
thank you,
Bye.
Shashi ma'am. Thank you, Eva. Thank you, Dhaval, to join here. Thank you, Priya.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Nehal.